But there was one question here from Dennis. He said, can adaptogens help with social anxiety? The answer, of course, is 100% yes. Specifically, I would focus on more calming adaptogens, but possibly mixing it with more stimulating. So like an ashwagandha rhodiola combo, that would probably be an awesome social anxiety stack. But I would often use amino acids there too. So we'd want to figure out, why is the social anxiety happening, right? There's probably an underlying thing there. And then of course you could use the nutrients as kind of a support.
Yeah, it just depends. Are you more socially anxious because your HPA access is just an overdrive and then just calming that down helps? Or is there some kind of subconscious trauma that needs to be resolved? Then we'd use a combination of EMDR, EFT, and NLP to address any root cause stuff, right? While we still use the adaptogens to calm down that fight or flight response. So we do both. If there's a stronger connection to a root cause, then we do those techniques that I just mentioned. If not, then we just address the hormonal and neurochemical milieu underneath the surface.
Yeah. And then just taking the question a little further. So is the social anxiety, could it be from self-confidence issues or self-esteem issues, which would be related to neurotransmitter issues? So for example, if you have low serotonin, you're going to be more prone to social anxiety. You're typically going to have lower self-esteem. You're going to be more of a worrier. So we may address that, and we would measure that on organic acids testing. And then what about the skin? Like, what if your skin is part of the reason you're socially anxious, because you feel like you don't look good enough or something like that? So then it becomes, well, why is the skin bad? Is it the gut? Is it the diet? So that's why we love doing these podcasts, to try to zoom in on stuff, but you always have to zoom out too and focus on the whole picture.
110%. And then a couple other things I wanted to highlight. So we're talking about connecting things to kind of more theoretical, but we want to also connect the theoretical into reality. So Evan kind of highlighted the organic acid testing. So we're actually testing the adrenals. Like, I'm running a hormonal panel to look at the cortisol rhythm, to look at that, how that cortisol fluctuates throughout the day. When we start to see HPA access issues, we start to see a disruption in the cortisol rhythm. So instead of that nice high to low to lower to lowest kind of gentle ski slope taper, we start to see either a flattening, or we start to see irregularity in the rhythm throughout the day. We also are going to run organic acids that will look at catecholamines, whether it's vanilmandelate that looks at adrenaline, or homovanillate, which looks at dopamine, or we'll look at 5-hydroxyindoloacetate, which looks at serotonin. We'll look at kinourinate or xanthourinate to look at B6. We'll also look at 8-hydroxy-2-deoxyguanosine or phenylacetic acid to look at oxidative stress. So again, these are, really big words. They're kind of foreign. These are organic acids, and they give us a window into the metabolic demand of what the stress is doing to these nutrient pathways. And so from that, we can come in there and we can create targeted supplement programs that support these specific nutrient deficiencies. But the difference is, we're not just trying to give you supplements, we're trying to fix the underlying root cause. So if there's poor digestion or food allergens, we're fixing it. If there's poor sleep or stress management or blood sugar instability during the day, that has to be fixed too. Blood sugar is a big one. Most people are on this blood sugar roller coaster ride where they're constantly having a catecholamine hormonal rush every time this blood sugar is going up and down, right? On the high side, it's insulin. On the low side, it's adrenaline and cortisol. And then we're in this insulin, adrenaline, cortisol, glucagon, insulin, adrenaline, cortisol, glucagon roller coaster. That's very energy depleting. Like Winston talks about, the B vitamins, the nutrients, the antioxidants. So we have to get to the root cause, and it's not just giving you a bunch of supplements. That may be part of it, but we got to have the big picture where we connect the symptoms upstream to the body's systems: hormonal, gut, infection, detox, nutrients, mitochondria, and then also connect it to the underlying stressors, physical, chemical, emotional, that may have gotten the ball rolling to begin with. So we got to go upstream, above, below, inside, out.
Yep. And you could take all the ashwagandha in the world, but if you're eating gluten-free muffins for breakfast and that's it, and you're going to have blood sugar problems, you're going to have mood issues. And I don't care how many adaptogens you take. So, people listening to this, they may think, okay, now I'm just going to go out and buy all these adaptogens. Maybe not. We like you to implement these things with a clinical picture and a clinical framework, as Justin kind of outlined, because you want to be more targeted. I promise this whole supplement graveyard that I talk about, people building up this supplement graveyard. It's not a good idea. And you're going to spend much more money in the long run if you're just buying this and buying that and trying this and trying that. You need to figure out what is underneath the hood. So that blood sugar issue is so critical. And if you don't address that, man, I tell you, you're going to be angry. You're going to have a short fuse. You're going to get mad at your kids when you're having a blood sugar crisis. So getting that under control, and then on top of that, using adaptogens to support you is how we would do it. But this is all within that clinical framework.